Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Sekiro's difficulty because quite simply people can't leave well enough alone. So another article has went up. This one went up yesterday. It says, "An easy mode has never ruined a game," by Joshua Rivera over at Kotaku. And I got to be honest, I'm not going to be going over the entirety of this particular article because it doesn't really feel like it brings anything relatively new to the discussion that all of the other articles that we've seen before brought. It just feels like complete clickbait, if I'm going to be completely honest. And congratulations, you got me. You got me with the clickbait, and now here I am talking about Sekiro's difficulty yet again. So here's the thing. One of the things that this article brings up, which is the only point that I will even bother addressing, is the whole accessibility thing. And I myself have been having a couple of discussions with Ian Hamilton, who is an expert on that particular subject. I would not say that we necessarily saw eye to eye on some of our discussions, but I want to make sure that people understand one thing. When it comes to accessibility, when it comes to colorblind mode, something that we can do to help people hear the sounds of the game better, something that we can do to support custom controllers, something that we can do to support custom keybinds, which I believe this game actually supports full remappable buttons, but I haven't really messed around with that stuff too much. But basically anything when it comes to accessibility options, anything that we can do, I will argue in favor of that. The colorblind mode, the special mode for people with hearing disabilities, the custom controllers, like, you know, the friggin' Microsoft controller that they did with all of those different things that you can hook up to it. Like, I will even argue in favor of Sony natively supporting a Microsoft controller on the PlayStation 4 for more, for more stuff on the PC to support that controller as well, so that more people can enjoy these games. Hands down, you will never ever see me argue against that particular topic. However, when it comes to changing the game in ways like reducing enemy hit points, increasing player hit points, increasing player damage, reducing enemy damage, when it comes to those changes, I am completely against. I'm sorry. If there are people that are not able to finish these games, I don't think that lowering the hit points or increasing your own damage is going to make that much of a difference. I mean, that's just the way that I personally feel about it. And I'm going to be giving you guys two very specific examples of why you really shouldn't lower the difficulty of this particular game as we move forward through this video. But another thing that I would like to bring up is that the game in and of itself has built-in mechanics that allow you to tackle things in different ways that make it a lot easier. For starters, in Sekiro, you have stealth. Use it. If you use stealth, you can kill a lot of enemies a lot easier. You can reset enemies pretty much at will. You can escape pretty much any situation that you get yourself into. And in certain boss fights, you'll even be able to backstab the boss before you even begin the fight, which gives you pretty much a significant advantage because the boss will be at 50 HP for all intents and purposes. So the game in and of itself already has all of these systems built in. You can even farm for skills if you want to. You can farm experience and grind skills and then acquire more powerful skills that again enable you to be more powerful against specific enemies. There are tons of systems in place that will make the game easier. It does not need an easy mode. As a matter of fact, I would even argue that a lot of the companies that do all of these games that have these different difficulty modes, what ends up happening is like, oh, my game has 5 difficulty modes. And it's like, I never know which one to pick because we all know that normal difficulty is garbage. It's like the game might as well play itself. On 99% of video games that are out today, the normal difficulty might as well be very easy. I don't even know what the easy difficulty is. And sometimes there's an even very easy difficulty setting where the game, I don't even know what happens on those, to be honest. Some games sometimes, even in hard difficulties, they still feel incredibly easy. And that is extremely frustrating to a lot of core gamers. And the problem becomes when you don't balance your games appropriately, like is the case for a lot of games that are out there right now, then when you get someone trying to go for their harder levels of difficulty, the only thing that we end up finding is like, well, enemies have ridiculous amounts of health and every single fight is a goddamn grind. So where's the fun? See, that's the thing. And that is where From Software excels, is at getting that base difficulty just right. Just perfect so that anyone can enjoy it. You know, there are certain things in the game that can make it easier. There are certain things in the game that can make it harder. Slight little tweaks here and there to really balance out your own personal experience. But for the most part, The base difficulty of a Souls game or any game that From Software has done feels great. And it's really good because you don't have to, really think about, oh, should I be playing this on hard? And then you go and you play on hard and you're like, this feels too easy. Should I be playing it on very hard? Then you go to very hard and it's like, oh, this is way too hard. I can't do this. Or it's way too boring because it's just additional health or whatever. It's like the balancing of difficulty is something that not a lot of developers, unfortunately, know how to do. From Software does, and a lot of its difficulty is organic. It is decided by the players. It is decided by the systems that are in game, and you can't mess with that. At least as far as I'm concerned, you cannot mess with that. And now I'm going to be giving you guys an example of two situations here. So, and these are two creators that I respect, by the way. These are not like two random people that I went to pick up and I wanted to pick up someone that was really bad. Like, I watch a lot of Blunty's content and I don't want people to go send them like hate messages or anything like that. But basically, here's the gist of it. Blunty cheated in the game. He got the PC version, used the trainer, and he cheated through the game. And we're going to be listening to what he has to say about that. And then we have Az from Heel vs. Babyface. And Az did not cheat through the game, but he was having a really rough time. But he decided to watch Vati Vidya's 20 Secret Tips Guide, which gives you a lot of tips as to how you can actually have an easier time in the game. So let's take a look at what the conclusion was, and I've selected a specific point in the video. I'm not quoting him out of context. This is just the conclusion as to how he feels about the game after having played through it and completing it. So let's have a listen here.
You take away the grindy by design boss fights, as I did by cheating, and the game is revealed to be only ankle deep. Toe deep, halfway up the toe. It's not compelling in its own right. Not the world building, not the story, not the characters. Much like I suspected of their previous games in the Soulsborne pocket, its only gimmick, the only reason people play, is that it's quite difficult. That's just not interesting enough for me. 6 hours in cheat mode and I'd finished the game, and I doubt I'll ever do so again.
So there you go. His conclusion after essentially enabling an easy mode. Whatever he did with the cheats basically enables him to do death blows every single attack. So he never really had to struggle with anything. He also enabled invincibility mode, so he never really takes damage. And he went through the whole game in about 6 hours. And his conclusion is that the game is elbow deep. It doesn't have any decent world building. The characters are not interesting. And that is his conclusion of his experience with Sekiro. And again, I don't want people to go harass him or anything like that, but this is the consequence of playing this game at an easier difficulty. You actually don't pay attention to the details. You don't listen to the eavesdrop conversations. You don't actually see the depth of the characters. You don't even get the actual story of the game. Like, you'll get the basic narrative of Sekiro, but you don't understand all the subtleties that exist behind it. And the fact that he completed the game like this has led him to believe that this is the case for every single From Software game. Basically saying that Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and all of these other games in this franchise are ankle deep. Their characters are not fleshed out. The world building is not fleshed out, and the game is quite simply not that great. Now, anyone that has played through a Dark Souls game will understand the storytelling style that Miyazaki brings to these games, and they will understand that simply playing through the game, rushing through everything, you'll never understand all of the details that are embedded into the story of these games, because you take your time when you are doing it and you are learning it. And you are not only getting rewarded with these beautiful gameplay moments, but you're also getting rewarded with story exposition and all of that stuff. In this video, Blunty actually says that he was playing through the game while watching Star Trek. I'm just like, well, I mean, how can you... The story of these games is hard enough to understand if you're paying attention, let alone if you're doing it while actually watching like a show or something on TV. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. So, Blunty, I love your content, dude, but like, seriously, you really dropped the ball with Sekiro. And I understand the game is tough, and it's considering it's your first time jumping into a From Software game. I understand why you did what you did, but I completely disagree with every single point that you make in this video, because I think anyone that has played through the game and has actually experienced the story and explored the world and saw all the little tidbits of details in the lore, which I haven't seen yet. Like, I'm still learning things, and just some of the stuff that I have learned at the Hirata Estate my second time around have been nothing short of mind-blowing. And it's been a really fantastic experience. So this is the consequence of adding an easy mode to Sekiro, is that you get players that will just blaze through the game. They will not enjoy it in the slightest. They will not understand what the appeal of the game actually is, and they won't even experience the story itself. And now let's take a look at the other example, which is Az from Heel versus Babyface. So Az was struggling with the game. He even sent out a tweet where he was just like, oh, this game, I can't get through this game or whatever. And someone sent him I think someone sent him the link to the Vati video with the 20 tips, and he watched it, and here's what happened next.
Particularly with the chained ogre. So anyway, I kind of use the same strategy with the general, and I bounce around the rooftops, and I manage to get behind the general, and I lock on, leap off, boom, I perform an execute on the general. 1 bar, gone completely. So I'm playing with 1 bar left. Now, bearing in mind, I actually haven't got the general down to 1 bar. So then I utilized the other skill that I learned, which was the bouncing, which was if you can dodge the sweep, the main attack sweep, then you can do the jump, and if you go afterwards, then it will stagger them greatly. And obviously, if you get the stagger bar to full, then you can perform an execute. So I did that, and I think it took a couple of attempts, but I managed to defeat the first general. And the sense of achievement, the sense of pride and accomplishment that I got from that fight, from killing the general, was immense. It meant I could get another charge of healing potion, and it meant I could also get 1 of 4 beads or whatever to go towards increasing my health bar or something like that. And it was then that I didn't, nothing has clicked, but it was then that I realized, okay, this is what the game is. This game is about learning and learning and learning and learning. And then when you have learned, only then will you get your success. But that success you will feel immeasurable satisfaction. And so I've seen videos out there.
And see, that's the thing. Az right there, he got it. He couldn't figure out how to evolve in the game. He was having a seriously tough time. He was struggling. He was probably wishing for the easy mode so that he could get the easy way out. But instead, he did the Ironbreaker thing to do, which is he persevered. He looked up information in order to better inform himself on what he needed to do in order to understand the systems. He informed himself of how the systems of the game actually work and how he can use them to his benefits. And he defeated his first mini-boss. And like he said it himself, his feeling of accomplishment was beyond anything that he experienced before. And that is what Sekiro is all about. And I wanted to bring up these 2 examples so that you understand. This isn't just me saying it. This isn't just me saying that putting in an easy mode is a bad thing because people will have a worse experience. And this is the proof right here. Blunty played it in what is essentially the easiest modes that you could possibly have come up with because he's cheating. And then Az did the exact opposite, and he persevered. And Az was rewarded with an amazing feeling of accomplishment, which is when you really start to get into these kinds of games, is when you get that feeling for the very first time. Whereas Blunty, he was just left completely disappointed with his experience of the game. And there you go. And that's the way that it works. Like, you take this away and you will not be able to properly experience the game. And that is why you can't just have an easy mode for Sekiro, because it will ruin the experience. Anyway, I really don't want to keep beating down on the dead horse that is this particular issue, but I just felt like I wanted to bring these 2 examples up because I saw these 2 videos and I was like, damn. Like, you can really see the difference in the experience of these 2 dudes. Anyway, I like both of these creators, so like I said, don't go harassing them or whatever. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit it up with a like. If you are new here, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. And what is the other thing that you got to do? Oh, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.